Hey there, BookTube. Welcome back to Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse is the channel. Today, we're going to take a look at some Salvador Dali. This is an awesome book, The Late Work, and I have a very rare set. I believe it's been reissued now. There is a reissue of this, but Salvador Dali's tarot is very rare indeed, or was up until the reissue, which was maybe within the last year. So I'm going to set that to the side for now, and I wanted to take a look at this beautiful book. This is awesome. We got a cool, the picture in the background right there. You see how gigantic that is. That is the picture that's on the front of the book there. And so Dali did these just gigantic pictures. Something like this is something that would, might be 30 feet tall, and take up an entire wall. I had the pleasure of visiting down in St. Petersburg, Florida, the Salvador Dali Art Museum. The premiere, it was awesome. And to take a look at all of that work, a lot of which is in here. So we're going to go through this a little bit. First, I'll say that when it comes down to it, this is the Last Supper. Salvador Dali's The Sacrament of the Last Supper, 1955. You see that there is just a lot going on. Salvador Dali, his late work was, people were very critical of his late work. And why? Is because he had a spiritual awakening later in life and embraced Catholicism. And with that, his art reflected his mind there. And, he moved away from the avant-garde kind of subject matters that he was more expressing. People kind of gave him, this is one of my favorite, the crucifixion there. It's one of my favorite. So it's not just these little, these little pictures here. So I'll get through this part. But we can take a look at some. I don't want to miss anything. But it's just he got a lot of backlash as far as like what pandering, like he was pandering to the Catholic Church and his subject matter of his art. Well, Salvador Dali was his own artist. So here's where the actual plates start in this work. And we have some 1920s, mid-1920s, then get into the 30s. Of course, the most popular of all Dali, pretty much the most popular that he's ever done, is the Persistence of Memory, 1931. This kind of liquid time flowing like liquid. Dali's artwork, you can take one picture and just study it, and you will find all kinds of little things and things seemingly out of place, and you just have to ask yourself, what does it mean? The Angel of Port Legat. So this is what I really love about this late work. So we have 1949, the first version of the Madonna of Port Legat right here, right? And you see, I mean, it's cool, but what kind of, 1 year later, the actual Madonna of Port Legat, and you see how much detail. And so much more symbolism. Dali was, of course, part of the elite. He was privy to a lot of the esoteric kind of thinking. This is one of my favorite. The Christ of St. John of the Cross. Here, the cosmic Christ up in the sky, out in space, and over this bay area here is actually Salvador Dali's home. So Salvador Dali, like every artist, like every true artist, Salvador Dali is implicit in his work. This is that giant one I said at the beginning was like probably the size of a room, maybe 30 feet tall or something. It's just amazing. And you have down there, what I see as like the cosmic egg. Portrait of Jack Warner. Equestrian fantasy. The maximum speed of Raphael's Madonna. Love this. I love how, how disconnected it is, but you just kind of look at it and you see the entire face. You see it all. You see exactly what he's trying to let you see, but then there's so much more going on with it. My trip to St. Petersburg, Florida, where I was able to go to the Salvador Dali Museum there, was one of the most awesome art experiences of my life, for sure. To see these kind of things in person, and how big, this is the Ecumenical Council. So when there's a picture like this that is, 30 feet tall, 15 feet wide, taking up an entire, and Dali's there in the corner. He painted himself in the image, painting. And when these things are, when you're in the presence of this, of something like this, there's so much going on. It's completely breathtaking. You can't help. I mean, after a while of, there's our cover. The Santiago El Grande. When you're in the presence of something like this, and you're walking around and there's just more and more and more. After even if you're not immediately affected, after a while of being there, you get into a spot that is hard for me to describe, where you just know that there is something communicated there that is just maybe incommunicable, not able to be expressed in words. The images and the visual medium is all that you can do. Is that's all it can, that is the all. Portrait of My Dead Brother. I always loved this one. Salvador Dali, so he had a young brother that died, maybe in childbirth, or he was very young, an infant, and he still, did this self-portrait of him, or portrait of him, in 1963. Like what he would have looked like, right? And is it? I mean, it's this, just paint markings. The battle in the clouds, and then a war zone. Phosphine, 1979. Topological construction of a female figure, 1983. Such beautiful stuff. You see, he didn't just, sorry, I just tapped the tripod there. He wasn't just doing paintings. There was a brooch right there, ruby lips, pearl inlays. Art of all kinds. But of course, the Annunciation. Drawing and painting, of course, was his forte. These are some sketches for St. John of the Cross, the Christ of St. John of the Cross. How he drew out to get the perspective he wanted on the Christ figure hanging in space. I love the Christ of St. John of the Cross. Might be my favorite Dali. So he did create a chest set, fingers, and thumbs. Very, very weird. And then here in the back is a lot of the ads, publicity. This is a very interesting book to go through and read as well. He's definitely was an interesting figure. And then some of his own. There's Dali in the Egg. It's called Prenatal Memory. A very famous picture of Dali there. some of his photography. He was very into the visual medium of all kinds, right? Just a surrealism is myself. He put his own, he put his own portrait into the persistence of memory, being one of the most popular of his works. So herein, at the end, is a little bit about the Salvador Dali Museum. Here it is, the Salvador Dali Museum, St. Petersburg, Florida. So, this was, give you a little, here's what it looks like from the outside. It opened in 2011. The disintegration of the persistence of memory. Stunning, huh? Love his geometries. So that's it for the late work. Quite the book. And I'll just run through his tarot real quick. I don't have a full set. This tarot is not available in this form anymore. This tarot has been out of print for a very long time. Now, like I said, I believe that they reissued it just this last year. But I don't have a full set. I have almost a full set. But all of these are drawn by Salvador Dali himself. Let's take a look at the backs. Up until, a year ago or less, I was thinking of how fortunate I was to even have the cards in my possession, because you just can't get your hands on them for less than, over $100 or something like that. And the edition that I have in my hands probably still is worth that or more, something like that, because this reissue, the reissue that they did, is going to have defining characteristics. But you see, he reworks all the cards. And he didn't finish this, as far as I know. He didn't finish it. So in the deck, somebody actually took other pictures of his and did add them to the deck to make it a finished deck, a complete deck of 78 cards. Napoleon there. You have these historical figures as some of the personages. It's pretty interesting. You see how he worked his he works his name into most all of the cards. Probably works his portrait in some of it as well. Pretty interesting. I've never used it for anything. I actually got it for free. Somebody said I was asking about the deck. I said, look, I'm looking to see if I can get my hands on. I want to take a look at the Salvador Dali tarot deck. They said, yeah, well, we have one, but it's incomplete. And I said, all right, well, can I look at it? And they said, sure. They brought it out. Let me take a look at it. I said, well, that's really cool, man. I'm really interested. It's quite the unique item to have. They said, well, it's incomplete, so do you want it? I said, yeah, I want it, What do you want? They said, oh, no, if you want it, you can just have it. I said, thank you very much. I believe he did this, obviously it's a mixed medium, but a lot of watercolor, paintings with kind of, sampling different images. Well, thank you very much, guys. This is called the Dali Universal Tarot. If anybody's interested, you can probably find it for pretty cheap. Since it's been reissued, you'll get the reissued, and you'll get it for, $20 or something like that. That's like a normal price of a tarot set. They're not going to charge you too much, but so you can probably get all 78 if you're interested. So that's Dali the Late Work. Thank you very much, BookTube, for joining me. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Bye bye.